All right, everybody, let's check this out. This is the software, this is the update that they're trying to merge into Bitcoin Core that you've probably never heard of. LRAY, peer-to-peer LRAY support signaling. Let's check it out. It's been over,
It's
been
Erlay, Nico.
Erlay. Sorry, Nico can't read. You guys know the drill. Erlay. Thank you, Opti. It's been a little over 3 years and exactly 696 issues since we have last talked about Erlay in this rag. Back in September of 2019, we wrote about Peter. I can't. Oh my God, the names. I'm sorry, guys.
Peter Woolen.
Thank you. And Galeb Namekenko. I'm sorry, guys. Submitting an official BIP to start the process of getting Erlay merged into the protocol. For those of you who may be unaware of what exactly Erlay is, it is a change to the transaction relay protocol at the peer-to-peer layer that full nodes use to communicate and share data about transactions that have been broadcast to the network. The change would bring material bandwidth efficiency gains to the peer-to-peer layer, which will make it easier for more people to run full nodes. I think that's the signal right there, particularly individuals who are living in areas with subpar internet connectivity. What you're looking at, freaks, is a massive breakthrough in distributed network engineering that will enable Bitcoin to become a more robust, reliable, and private network. More robust because it enables more individuals to participate in network validation by opening up the potential universe of those who have the ability to run a full node by lowering the barrier to entry on the internet bandwidth side of things. More reliable by increasing the connectivity between nodes, and more private by making it harder for attackers to identify the node from which a transaction originated. Extremely bullish. BEAUTYON, more to the peer-to-peer. What are your thoughts on the Erlay update or potential Bitcoin improvement protocol being merged into Bitcoin Core?
Well, I think it sounds very good on the surface. Anything like this, which is an improvement in how Bitcoin actually works, is a good thing. Things that are not good things are changes to addresses to make these funny addresses for people with their legacies and all this business. That's not good. But this is a very good thing because it expands the capabilities of Bitcoin without changing the fundamental nature of it. So I don't think anybody can be against this out of the box without just some cursory examination. And so it would be a good thing that it gets merged, because the more people who have access to be able to run full nodes increases the security of the network, and it's a good thing.
Absolutely. So I want to take advantage of the fact that you're here to talk a little bit about the recent moves by the state to go after Bitcoin specifically, right? And the example that comes to mind was the recent move by the US Treasury to ban sanction specific open source software that has never been done before. Sanctions have always only been against individuals or countries, but for the first time in U.S. history, I believe, this is what BEAUTYON and I were talking about before the show, this is a preemptive move to set a precedent by the Treasury, because if they could say, we could sanction certain open source software, what is Bitcoin? An open source software, we can sanction Bitcoin. Now, is this going to be successful? Absolutely not. But you can't let the state isn't going to go gently into that good night without putting up a fight. BEAUTYON, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, like, when you have children, it's bedtime. It's bedtime, and so you go to bed. And so you go into that night, it's bedtime. That's all there is to it. And let's just speak seriously about this. As far as I understand, the legislature writes the legislation in the United States, not the Treasury, not SEC or anybody else. So they can't write a law in the first place. And the legislature is explicitly forbidden from writing laws that violate the Constitution. Those are two things. And then again, you can't sanction a piece of software. That's completely absurd. It's like sanctioning hemlock or arsenic in the bottle. We're going to sanction arsenic because arsenic is used to poison people. It's absurd on its face. So whoever has written this doesn't understand how software works, doesn't understand that software developers are protected by the United States the First Amendment of the Constitution in the United States. And so this is settled law. So these people are probably very young, ignorant, and don't understand what it is they're dealing with. And we see a lot of this when people try and address the so-called problem of Bitcoin, they see that something big is happening. They see it's coming down the pike, and they want to control how it's coming down the pike towards them, like this ridiculous Loomis bill, and they just expose their ignorance in the text of the law. But with this, it cannot possibly be a law. You cannot sanction a protocol. You cannot sanction a piece of software. You can only sanction people. And people write software, and Americans who write software have rights. And those rights can't be taken away by a non-legislative body. That's just a fact. It will go to court because that's the only language these people understand. And then when it goes to court, it might even go to SCOTUS, and it'll be struck down, and that's the end of it. It's
Yeah.
just like crypto wars happened in the 1990s. Uh, they lost, basically. And so Clipper Chip and all this other business was abandoned, and these things will be abandoned also. And every day they spend wasting their time trying to fight Bitcoin. Bitcoin is growing stronger and stronger and stronger. And Bitcoin entrepreneurs are very nimble. They understand what a passport is. They understand that the lines on a map in the world are actual jurisdictional boundaries through which the authority of these states cannot pass. And they're going to other jurisdictions, just like the Chinese miners came to Texas to escape Chinese jurisdiction. American entrepreneurs, should the American government make a big, big fundamental mistake, as they have in the past, like with internet gambling, they'll just move to another jurisdiction and serve everybody from there. So these other jurisdictions will benefit from the ignorance of the American legislature. Or they can back down, understand that their role is a public servant, and servant doesn't mean master, it means servant. Serve the American people by getting out of their way so that the entrepreneurs can build services that serve the whole world, and their problem will be solved in that way. And of course, all these businesses that are started in the United States have to pay tax in the United States. So just imagine there's a Bitcoin company that's serving the entire world by supplying Bitcoin, and it's based in the United States. Imagine how much taxes they're going to pay. They're going to be raking in trillions of dollars. And the other big tech companies have incorporations in Ireland, Apple, Amazon, and all this business. Why? Because they don't want to pay taxes and be over-governed by the United States government. And during the Trump era, these companies were encouraged to repatriate some of the money that they've been accumulating abroad. Look, economics is not a game. Economics is real. Economics is real, and entrepreneurs will adjust their behavior to make sure that they're not being fleeced. And the American government should understand this. But unfortunately, people like Ron Paul are routinely ignored because what they're saying is unpalatable to that class of people who think they're the masters and not the servants. And so America keeps making these mistakes over and over and over again. And in 2022, in a networked world where anybody can run a server anywhere with a press of a button, nobody's going to tolerate ignoramuses and other nice people interfering in their business. They're not going to tolerate it. Why should they? They shouldn't. And because Bitcoin, with the only exception of mining, which requires a physical presence, because Bitcoin is all software all the time, all the way down, they can run their businesses from anywhere. So obviously, anybody who's a patriotic American wants Bitcoin companies to be incorporated in the United States where they're going to be taxed. And that should be the overriding desire of anybody who's a public servant wanting to serve America. Otherwise, they're going to go somewhere else. So they need to understand that in order to, in the case of politics, ruling actually means obeying. Ruling actually means protecting. It doesn't mean getting in the way of people, hauling people before Congress to testify, pointing your finger at them, scolding them. That's not sensible. That's not sensible. It's actually anti-American. And we're finding out now that there are jurisdictions where people are moving to because it's easier to do business, and those jurisdictions are not the USA. Even inside the USA, companies fastidiously avoid doing business in New York because of that toxic, anti-American, absurd, horrific bit license. So all those people in New York who should have free access to Bitcoin, just like every other American, don't. because of one stupid legislature, one stupid man who thought he knew better than anybody else and actually wanted to set up a business for himself, policing the law that he wrote for himself. So it's very important that these people understand what their job is, what America is, what the Constitution says, and the separation of powers and everything else. If they just obey the oath that they swore, we wouldn't be even discussing this. But they all think they want to be the boss, and they're going to be shown that they're not the boss. And this
Hmm.
is very easy to predict if you're old enough to have seen the last 30 years. And a lot of these people in the legislature are old enough to have seen this. They just don't care.